Do you actually feel that you're constantly back in the rut? Do you feel that even though you have done so much healing, your thoughts are still coming back, where you're reaching some highs and then some very, very lows? And the problem here is that you face is that you seem to not find an exit. It keeps coming back and it keeps snapping at you. It's like so close to you. But you question, if I've done all of that work, what did it help if I still have those thoughts? This is a very, very quick reminder. You gotta learn what are toxic relationships. With toxic relationships, I mean that things in our life become not in our best interest anymore. Those relationships we once engaged were pretty good, and we needed them at some point. But now that you are awakened to something more, they become toxic. And I don't necessarily like that word that much, but I think you understand what I'm trying to say. They are not in your very, very best interest anymore. And so what happens now is the idea that you kind of connect with your thoughts so closely, and you actually do have a relationship with them. And that relationship is something that you are entertaining still. So what would you do if you would have to leave a toxic relationship? If you would shake hands, right? You would take that hand off. You would say something like, hey, we are ending this relationship right now. If you have some obligations or something, probably you have done that before, and you thought like, okay, but I still have to engage with something because, maybe there is a child involved or whatsoever. But the relief you will feel if you disengage in a relationship that is not good for you is bringing you a very, very big relief of that tensity that you don't want anymore, right? So if you are doing the same things with your thoughts to not get that crash of like high emotions and low emotions, meaning high emotion feels really good, low emotions are those sad, grief, anger, something like this, right? Which is not good or bad, but it's just for you to understand. And the high ones are those ones where you feel super excited and everything is awesome and something like this. But the problem is driving up here is usually like backfiring at one point. Especially if you haven't trained yourself on your thoughts. You see, most of the time we actually think that we only have to engage in certain, acts with like relationships, and we have to tell that person this is how it works, this is what I want, blah blah blah. But we are not giving that much attention to our thoughts. We are not really checking in if we are still in relationship with that thought. Do we really want that? Do we want that relationship? Right? So there was once a client, and she said like, when I'm in this very high and I have, she's also a coach, and I'm having clients and whatsoever, life is really good. And then somehow I get into the fall where I may not find any clients, or I don't have my book full. And then I start to feel this immense sadness, and I start to shame myself. I start to feel guilty, and I start to rethink everything of, is this really what I want to do in life, and all of that. And I get really sad, and then I make myself really I feel very miserable in that kind of area of my life. And I asked her what relationship she has towards her thoughts. And she was like, well, what do you mean? It's like, well, you probably hold a relationship that is no longer working for you. She's like, yeah, but what do you mean? I was like, yeah, with your thoughts. You see, the relationships we hold with our thoughts is a relationship too. You cannot see it, but it's there. And that's why it constantly shows up. It's showing up for a reason. It's because you're still engaged. You still are wearing that wedding ring, you know what I mean? You're still wearing the hat of the wedding that we are together. You're telling me that if I don't have this or that, I feel this. You know what I mean? So you have to disengage, and you have to do it like as if you would end a relationship, a loving relationship, a partnership, a friendship, whatsoever. So look at it as a separate, if you want so, a separate entity. Look at it as a separate being, if that helps you, right? Make it a little bit more like separate yourself from that, right? And it's about like looking at it and saying, thank you, I'm now done. I no longer engage in something that is not bringing me the most possible outcome, the best thing that I could receive, maybe, right? So start to learn a bit more about that. I hope this video has helped you. And with this said, thanks so much. Don't forget to subscribe and to like this video if this has been a help for you. And now to you, I want to know from you, have you had this kind of relationship where you felt top here and the next second down here, and you're like, huh? What happened? Let me know in the comment section. And with this said, thanks so much for being here. I see you another time. Bye-bye.